Well, good morning everyone. We are back here finally. Got up to the big lake here today up in Skakawea. Today what I'm going to be doing is something a little bit different than maybe a lot of you do. I'm not a fan of pitching jigs at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a planer board out in about 3 to 5 feet of water and then keep the boat out in about 6 to 8. And then I'm going to run that board up there, and I'm going to use probably a crawler on that one, and nothing special, just a bear hook. And since the water's a little bit dirty today, I just put a silver bead on there, just something for a little bit of color. As you can see, I left that tag end on that hook right there. And the reason being is when I thread my crawlers on, that tag end will hold those on. And I'll show you how I thread a crawler on here real quick. Just go from the top and just thread it on so you would a plastic. Thread it all the way up as far as you can, and then once you get to the knot in your loop, just pull it right over top. That's all I'm going to be running today. Just that crawler. And the only thing I'm using for a weight is that little weight right there. I'm going to get it up there, and being that our weather has been really inconsistent and really frustrating. Yesterday we had heavy winds, so we didn't make it out yesterday. It's either been raining or it's been windy. And it's been anywhere from Friday was 85 degrees. Yesterday was, I think, high 60s. Now this morning it is right there at that. It's low 40s right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this set up and get the board out. I'll show you what the board looks like when I get out there. All I'm doing is I'm running a offshore board. Got the cheater flag on it. So I'm going to get this set up. I'm getting my rods in the water. I got some camera gear to set up. So let me get this set up, and I'll explain more once I get going. Yeah, then all I'm doing once I get set up here is I'm running side scan on my one graph. That way, here's the shoreline side, and I'm running my board up in some fairly shallow water. So if I see a group of walleyes right off to the side and I pull my board over top of them, they don't hit it, I may turn around and go ahead and throw a jig at them to see if I can get them to go. I'm not a huge pitching guy, but that's what it calls for. That's what it calls for. And then on the graph, of course, I got my lake map, and then there's the setup there. Got the board running out, and then I will grab that rod and hold that rod there. But that one's just dropped down, rubbing off bottom with just a regular Lindy rig. Moving real slow. I'm moving at 0.6 miles an hour right now. The water is really dirty, so I don't know how this is going to turn out today, but I'm going to try to go up and get some walleyes up in the shallower water here and see what happens. The water is only 48 degrees, and it's not what I wanted to see. I was hoping for the middle to upper 50s, but we'll see what happens. When I came out here, I was marking some fish out in that 22 to 24 range. So if I have to, I'll go after those fish too. But right now, I'm just going to get my boat set and pay close attention to detail to see what I can round up here and see what happens as I cruise this shoreline. And also what we're fishing here today is it's a big huge bay that starts back over there, kind of goes back into a creek, and then the bay gets bigger, of course, as we go out to the main lake. And what these fish are doing is they're coming up from that shallow water from spawning, and they're going to start working their way up. You know, the shoreline of this big bay, this big deep bay, and what's going to happen is the water warms up more and more. They're going to start sliding out to a little bit deeper water, then they'll go start looking for main lake structure. But for right now, with this cold of water, they should be sucked up shallow yet, and hopefully pulling these boards over top of them in shallow water is going to do the trick today. But stay tuned. Let's find out and see what happens here. I got a little more stuff to set up yet. Been fishing for about, I'd say, half an hour, I suppose, and haven't seen much up until now. Now we're starting to see a little bit of bait fish, and looks like we maybe have 2 fish piled right here, right next to it, so hopefully something starts to give here soon. There we go, fish on. Finally, we're starting to mark quite a few here. That might be a smallmouth. Yep, it's a smallie. That's a start. Not what we're looking for, but it's a start. Well, it's been pretty uneventful here this morning so far. As you can see, I moved out a little bit deeper, and now this is what I'm running into. Finally starting to see fish, but they are sucked so tight to the bottom. I'm gonna have to maybe just go driving around and see if I can find some fish out there that's up off the bottom, and maybe throw some jigs at them, and maybe a drop shot or something here. But yeah, the planer board up shallow wasn't working. I had the side scan on, and I didn't see hardly any fish up shallow, which is amazing. All the fish that I've marked have been in 22 to 24 feet, and I don't know if the wind and the weather had a lot to do with it here lately, but I'm thinking I might have to just go drive around until I find some active fish, or fish that are at least off the bottom that are catchable anyway. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
I can't do it all day. I got night, so.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Boy, I just wish you would get a decent damn job that pays and be able to relax a little bit in life instead of work.
I know. It's just that job gets in the way of my things like, sleep and fun stuff.
Yeah.
If I could just have the money without going there, I mean, I'd be much happier.
Right. And that's what I keep on telling my boss is that, you know what, I'm not going to do anything, so I might as well go home so you can pay me when I'm sitting at home.
If you're going to pay me to show up here and fall day, I mean, that's on you.
Yeah, you might as well pay me sitting in my chair. So
Fish on. Oh, I got to call you right back, Chad.
Okay.
Parting around talking to my uncle here, and this fish just smoked it. I'm not sure what it is yet, but nice walleye. Good walleye. Good walleye there. I mean, not huge, but good walleye. Just absolutely smacked it in about 22 feet of water on a pink hook and a minnow on a Lindy rig. Nice head shakes. That's a good walleye there. Nothing too big. Switched to a jig and a minnow now. Well, it's been a long morning. Been really grinding it out. I've been tried 3 or 4 different techniques, a bunch of different depths. I caught 2 walleyes so far, one out in 24 and this last one was in 16. You know, first one came on a Lindy rig with a minnow, and this one here came on a jig, vertical jigging over the side of the boat here. I just kind of drove around and I trying to find pods of fish, and I found them and I cast them and nothing would really happen, so I kind of got over top of them, set over the top of them, finally got that one to go. But it's been a grind. You know, this weather's really raised havoc here, but it's been a grind. I'm gonna keep grinding it out here for a little bit longer. I'll hopefully get another fish or 2 here to go, but I gotta work tonight, so can't be out here too long. It's a little over an hour drive home yet, so I'm gonna keep grinding here and see what happens. Perch on drop shot.